Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, I am. I'm actually trying from StreamYard and to see how. Okay, so Okay, so I have a guest. Uh-huh. She's here. Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh
This is
boy.
amazing.
Let me let me see if I can.
Okay.
I might turn it upside down. Oh.
This is how it should be.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm thinking I may have to share the link on Facebook for people to be able to join, right?
No, since you're on, this is your Facebook account, right? You've
It's
linked
on
it
my Facebook. Oh, wow, great. Okay, so
automatically.
okay, this
So
is
it's
good.
live. We're
Okay.
live. We're live.
Oh, Lord, this is so good. Thank you for coming on. God
I
bless you.
I was already
Thank you
getting.
so much.
I had to change
Okay.
position. You notice I changed position
Yeah,
because I was like,
yeah.
is it network or?
Okay, I
No?
can't explain honestly, but thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking out time. Thank you for trying again and again and again and not giving
Ah,
up on
thanks.
me. Okay,
After all the anticipation, I needed to.
my
I was
sister.
already. In fact, I almost took off this suit. That this matter. This one is not suit
Okay,
matter.
happy now. It's all good. Okay, it's a little bit hot around here actually, so
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so now that I have you on, thank you for coming again and again. We're going to start off. Well, sorry, it looks like we're starting late, but we actually started on Facebook Live and we had issues with the network over there. And so we had to use another app, so to speak. Okay, so we're on now. I would like to know if you're here. If you're here, please drop a comment in the comment section so that we know you're here and greet you accordingly. Okay, so I think we have a few viewers, and so because of time, because we've run out of time, basically, let's just shoot. I'd like you to introduce yourself. Trust me, that stuff you sent, I couldn't quickly copy it because it was almost time. So if you have you with you, I'd like you to read out your resume. Let the
Okay.
world hear who I'm talking with today.
Okay. Ese Ayebene, a practicing counseling psychologist. I actually studied guidance counseling in Delta State University. Um, I work as I am actually CEO of Slay at Home Mom Africa, and I
Yeah.
work with Nelcon Media as the principal partner. I also volunteer with Daughters of Sierra Leone. I work with as a volunteer with. That's why I wrote it down because I've actually dabbled into a lot of things. I work as an
Yeah.
associate coach with Coach
Okay.
360, and I
Okay.
also volunteer with. There's one of
A
maybe
whole lot.
because of the tension, there are a whole lot.
There's this one I saw, SAH. That's Lay at Home Moms, right?
Stay at home mom
Media
Africa. Yeah,
Clinic.
that's
Okay.
my
All
that's
right.
my that's my that's my baby. I actually just
Okay.
registered the company on the I got my certificate of registration from CAC on the 8th of March,
Oh wow.
International Women's Day, and I'm like,
International Women's
that's
Day.
like it was like timely. I was so happy
Oh,
and excited because it was all for stay at it's a an initiative for stay at home moms. So
okay.
basically, I work with stay at home moms. My niche is stay at home moms to help them
Okay.
get more clarity on their goals, help them set
Yeah.
up on their goals. Because I have the belief, because as a stay-at-home mom myself, I know how much it takes for a mother to take out time to have kids and then want
Okay.
to get back. There's that space of time you feel, oh, there's no need, and that's where a lot of women just give up and just stay with the kids. It's not like they did nobody actually plans to just give up on their dreams. You understand?
Yeah.
But time
Yeah.
happened, life happened. So I see that as an issue because I knew how much struggle I had when I started seeing my friends. Oh, they've gone so far. Where do I start from? So I just want to give support to women like me that are stay-at-home moms that made that sacrifice.
Amazing.
I am not saying career women are not, because I think sometimes we tend to make it look like a competition of stay-at-home moms
Yeah.
are better than career women. No, 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 no. There's not
Mhm.
like that. Everybody has
Mhm.
a decision. As long
Yeah.
as you made your decision, stand by your decision and be confident in it. I don't need to
Yeah.
do what you are doing for you to be happy with yourself. I think that's what we are trying to do. Like, oh, because I'm a career
Mhm.
woman, every other woman should be,
Should
or
be.
because I'm a stay-at-home mom, every woman should be. No, just make your decision. decide what you want and stick to it.
All right. Okay, amazing. We're communicating already. Okay, so that's Mrs. Ese
Yes.
Ayebene, right? Okay,
Ayebene,
cool.
yes.
Ayebene, alrighty. Okay, so we're going to delve in straight into the topic because of time. I know
Yeah.
you had a lot prepared for today, and what we're talking about high risk incompatibility. Some of the things that one should actually put into consideration when getting into a relationship or while in a relationship, and we decided to choose communication for today. Okay, some things that you shouldn't overlook.
Yeah.
What are some of the cues, communication cues that you hear or see that would make you feel I should be careful around this person, or I should be careful at this point, or something. Let's just get into, of course, we're going to try to define what communication is as it pertains to relationships, as it pertains to life generally. Let's start from there.
Okay, communication basically is just giving out information. We've understood that from time immemorial, from school. Their communication is passing on information from one person to another, right? But
Yeah. Mhm.
effective communication is key. I think we miss the point. Communication is not just giving out information. If you stop there, you might not be effective. But effective communication is giving information and then the other person giving out that, responding with an
Right.
action.
Okay.
Do you understand? Like,
Yeah.
I give an information, the other person responds. So if the person doesn't respond to my information, communication is not effective. So
Okay.
I can communicate and it's not effective if there is no corresponding action. Let me give you a good example. I tell my husband, baby, help me wash the plates. And he doesn't wash the plates. Communication is not effective. Maybe because of my tone, because I will get into that later. But it's,
Okay.
and that's where the problem is in marriage. It's not that you're not talking.
Mm-hmm.
And most times we talk. And we tend to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. But, and we feel, yes, we are communicating now because
Mm.
we are talking. Or a lot of couples get it twisted and say, yeah, we communicate. When you ask, do you communicate? Yes, you communicate because you're talking. But if there is
Mm-hmm.
no corresponding action, you're talking about making plans for your life and you're not seeing any plans. A year has gone by, 2 years, 3 years, no, that means you're not communicating.
Okay.
Do you understand? So talking
Yeah.
is not communication. It's the corresponding action that determines
Okay.
if your information has been received. So the goal is not to talk. The goal is to see a reaction and to have a corresponding action based on what is discussed.
Okay. Okay, so that has been laid bare at this point. Okay, so let's take it from before one gets into a marriage relationship. You're seeing someone, okay, and sometimes there's this thing that happens in, I don't want to call it, when people just meet themselves. How do they know when to take it to the next level? Because it's usually difficult sometimes for females to actually talk and find out, oh, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going with this? And then a whole lot of things come into play that I wouldn't want to, like I always say, I don't want to preempt my guests. I like you to give out what you have based on the topic. Okay, there are times when people feel like, oh, I'm seeing this kind of attitude or character. This person displays this or displays that. But because I feel like getting to a certain age, I should be married, I try to ignore it, even though the person is communicating. Like we said, we talked about effective communication right now. They may not be communicating it verbally, it might be an attitude or so, but each of those things are being communicated to us one way or the other, verbally,
Yeah.
non-verbally. Okay, so you see them, but because you feel, oh, I'm getting older, I should ignore that. It's something I can deal with, and stuff. At what point do you get to, or what do you see? You tell yourself, irrespective of how old I think I am or how late I think I'm getting married or something, I shouldn't ignore this cue. It's something that could be very disastrous if I had to ignore it and go on. I
Well,
don't know if
it's
you got
hard
the
to.
question.
I
Okay.
get the general idea of what you're saying, but it's hard to give an advice to a person that is in love.
Uh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
When love is involved, a lot of
Yeah.
faults are overlooked. You
Mhm.
understand from marriage that there are some things you saw when you were dating that you actually ignored. Everybody did that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Everybody did that. Recently there was some things I noticed in my marriage, and I was like, did it just start? And I realized now they were cues.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just. We tend to say the person is changing. The person didn't change.
It didn't change.
It didn't change. Most times they were
Mm-hmm.
cues. People,
Mm-hmm.
but the person didn't change. Let me not say that. No, people change because nobody remains the same. We change based on our experiences as we grow. We tend to learn from things that happen all around us. That being
Okay.
said, but there are some basic character traits that are just there. You
Okay.
understand?
Mm.
If somebody is violent, you see it. It might not show. Let me use a very funny example. Um, my mom, when my mom and dad were dating, my mom was 17, my dad was 23, and um, my dad was having an argument with his sister, and he threw the sister and her arm, broke her sister's arm. My dad was the lovey-dovey type with my mom, so it never occurred to her that if he can break his sister's arm, what can he do to you? Somebody that he has known all his life. So those are the little
Mm-hmm.
things. When you see somebody being hostile towards his own family, be careful, because
Yeah.
you're about to be his family too. Do you think? I don't understand when people tend to be happy that the guy is fighting his family for you. He
Mm.
can't change that same way towards you. The way has
Mm-hmm.
changed for his
Mm-hmm.
family. So there are some little
Mm-hmm.
things. But I think we tend to celebrate it as love, like, oh, it shows he really loves me. He's fighting his family for me. I don't know. It works for some people because there's no general rule in life where the man
Right.
has driven all the family for you. Fine, he has worked for you and he didn't change. But
Mm.
but if he changes in future, know that you have already seen it in
Sure.
before that these
Yeah.
are cues. So
Mm-hmm.
and then generally like I said, you can't really give an advice to somebody in love because I've been there. And but I think what we should also do is, there's something in Africa we do is that we tend to take advice from those that are older than us. And most of the
Yeah.
young ones right now, they are making more mistakes because we are trying to break off. We want to do
Okay.
things by ourselves. We don't want to take advice from anybody. It's my life. I run my life. I don't need my mom's approval. I don't need my parents' approval. I pay the bills. I run my life. That kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I think we should go
Yeah.
back. You understand? We should go back to that. If Because when I was getting married, one of the things I did was to find out if my husband's people were in agreement with it. Because they might be
Okay.
seeing some things in you that they know that will not work with their own son. Sometimes it's not because they hate you.
Okay.
Sometimes, ironically, sometimes they are seeing some things that you're not seeing. Have you not seen some marriages where it doesn't, like I said, it does, there's no one rule. There are some marriages where nobody approves of the marriage.
Yeah.
No one approved of the marriage, and the marriage didn't work
Okay.
because they saw some things that you didn't see. But you are saying they are witches, they don't want me, they don't like me, they don't want this one. We're always, it's well, Sha. Let's not dive too much into that, but because there is, like I said, there is no one rule. It might not work for everybody, but you should just keep an open mind when it comes to marriage. When it comes to, like, we should learn to take advice from our elders.
Okay. Okay. Having said that, yes, you do not give advice to somebody who is in love. But if you go on social media today, you hear where people will say, Auntie, keep that your heart somewhere, or that your love somewhere, and hear common sense. Because we don't want you to come back tomorrow and say, hide my identity, and this is what I'm seeing, and blah blah blah
Mm.
and all that. So we still have to talk. So
Yeah, we
what do
do.
we say to
We do.
somebody who is seeing those things? We tell them run, right? Tell them run, or
Yeah,
you say, oh, check and check again and see if it's something you believe you'll be able to. But the truth is, even at that point, people feel, I think I can deal with it, until they actually start dealing with it. And then they realize, oh man, I can't deal with this thing, you know. Okay, so
I th-
um
I think
yeah,
sometimes too they need, like, they need to have a reality check. Like, ask yourself a question: how do you see yourself in this same situation 10 years, 20 years from now, when you now have kids, when you have other responsibilities coming in?
mm,
Sometimes you're able to manage some things because maybe you're just alone with, you don't have any
yeah,
kids, you don't have any stress. Like some ladies that
Mm-hmm.
will be complaining now that they are the ones taking care of the bills. Find
Yeah.
out sometimes they were taking care of the bills before the kids came, and they didn't complain because it wasn't so bad. But now
Mm-hmm.
it's now becoming a thing. You understand? So you should sit down. Most times we don't think farther than the wedding. We don't
Okay.
actually plan like ahead more than the wedding day. You should
Yeah.
think far. Think far.
Mm.
How long can you? So my dad would say, what you cannot take, don't start it. What you cannot
Don't
finish, don't
start.
start it.
Don't
You
start. Yeah.
understand?
Mm. Okay. Okay. Having said that, let's talk about now that the love bug has bitten, and we have eaten. We've come into the relationship itself, the marriage itself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then those things start showing up, and then
Yeah.
we're talking. I want you as a psychologist, a counseling psychologist for that matter, to speak about the place of counseling, communicating from the aspect of a third party, so to speak, because most times in marriages you hear people say, don't bring in a third party, blah 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 blah. But here I'm communicating with this person. Okay, so we've had this communication over time, and it's not working. We keep talking, and it's like we do not hear ourselves. What do you say about trying to bring in somebody else to help us, to be a sounding board, so to speak, to help us realize, oh, okay, this is what this person is actually trying to say to you, and that is what this other person wants you to understand, to help the communication blend or something. I don't know. What do you say about that? Because
It
I believe that
actually
yeah.
it actually works, and it's always
Okay.
better if both couples are in the same room,
Mm-hmm.
because there are instances where even the have you ever had a situation where you're trying to say something but is interpreted differently? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not in the same room, and for example, let me use myself as an example now. I am the middleman. I hear from the
Okay.
wife. I'm trying to talk to the husband. This is what your wife is trying to say. It might be I might misinterpret the information
Okay.
based on even the person saying it doesn't even know what she's saying.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it. But you know that place in marriage where even you don't know how to convey your own emotions. Like you don't know how to explain what you're feeling. And the other person is trying to explain it to you.
Okay. Well, come on, network.
All right. Can you hear me? Sorry, I got a call.
Okay, alrighty.
I got a call. Okay, so
Okay.
what I would like to say first, before bringing in a counselor, let me say something basically that everyone should understand.
Okay.
We process information differently.
Yeah.
Knowing that alone is a key into understanding how your spouses works. Most times, and it's rare to have two people that are the same. You have one that processes internally and externally. I'm going to explain both individually, but one processes internally and the other processes externally. And most
Okay.
times, it's the woman that processes externally. What she does most times is talk out her feelings to process what is in her head. That's why women talk more. It's not that they've not actually come to a conclusion of what they're saying, but have you
Mm-hmm.
ever seen a woman trying to tell you something like, hey, this thing is bothering me, and as she's talking, she now say, oh, I know what to do. Have you ever seen that happen? Or it has happened
Of,
to you?
of
Like you're
course.
talking to your husband, and
I don't have a
I swear
solution. Yeah.
he's waiting to give you a solution, and you're just like, oh, don't worry, I know
Mm-hmm.
what to do.
I already
Do you
know what to
understand?
do. Mm-hmm.
So we process, most women, not all women, there are some exceptions. We process
Okay.
information externally. So we talk it out. So we need that opportunity. So if you don't have the opportunity to talk it out, it's like you cannot even think.
Okay.
That's why you're always like, I need to talk to you. So and the man is like, I beg. Yeah, we'll talk later. You're not you are it's like an urgency for you because it's like you need to process what is in your head. Imagine
Mm,
you stopping your computer from processing information that has been given. The computer will explode. That's what happens. The woman will just explode because she's bottling up, bottling up, bottling up. She's trying to process things in her head. So we process things most times externally. Most women that are extroverts do that. But most women
mm,
that are introverts, they process things internally, meaning they think it in their head. So let me give you an instance of an external internal processor now. So I process externally. So when I want to talk to my husband, I go on and on and on and on talking about everything, and he just listens. And most times we misinterpret the internal processor that is not listening, it's not hearing me because you want to hear feedback.
yeah.
We believe when we don't get feedback, that means the communication is not. No, that is how they process. So he
Okay.
needs a day, sometimes 2 days. If you actually, so if you understand how the person works, you now being the external processor, just load them with the information and tell them, okay, I understand that you need a day or two to think it over. Let's talk about
Okay.
this. But most times we're just in a hurry because we don't understand that it's not the same way we work. Because as we're talking, we get the solution fast. But they take their time. They will think it. They sometimes they will not even think about it immediately. They need more time to think about it. They might not even be in the mood to think about it right then.
Mm,
But if you don't understand that fact, you are waiting for and you're not getting the response, and you just flare up, and then argument starts. Hey, I've been talking to you since yesterday about this thing. You have not said anything. You know that happens a lot.
but we did talk about effective communication being that in which you get a response
Not
eventually.
in yes, no, responding action.
Responding action. Okay.
Action. If you really
Okay.
want a responding action, not just a response, because what I'm saying is
Okay.
we do more of lip service. I've heard you.
All right.
We have heard you. Don't worry, we'll do something. Whereas the person has not actually thought about it. But if you give them more time to think about it, you will get the response you need.
Okay.
You know, imagine, okay, the few times I've done that with my husband, I just say, I know you need time to think about this. I know I'm not saying I'm always perfect because there are sometimes there's just this urgent need for, but most
Mm-hmm.
times I remember and I say, oh, I know it will take time. And then and then for internal processors, most times, because they are always thinking, they have more things in their head. They don't know how to download. So you're giving them more information, whereas what is in their head, they've not even downloaded it. So sometimes, even before you give them more information, you need to find out what is in their head first.
Okay.
Um, I read in a book somewhere that the 3 minutes after a man comes back from work is very important. The first 3 minutes sets the mood.
Okay.
You understand? Just that, how was your day? Just give the person time to just breathe and distress because the traffic, work, a lot of things have happened. But most times, the next thing is, did you remember to buy the diaper? Or you
Because
forget the
that's
bread
what you
is
are thinking
in.
about actually.
Yeah. Whereas the person has, so imagine maybe boss has shouted on you at the office, or like what happened to my husband one day like that. I was like waiting for a particular response. I couldn't get it. Unknown to him that he did an interview with the governor, with a governor of this of one of the states, and he lost the interview. The system crashed.
Oh wow.
He didn't tell me. And me, I was talking about something irrelevant compared to that. So, and imagine the, and he traveled to the States, the office paid money for the interview and everything, and he lost the file. Based on,
Mm.
it's not like it's personal for the, system malfunction. And then,
Mm.
so he was going through that. And then me, I'm now loading him with one house matter. I don't know, something just stopped me, and I'm like, so are you okay? And he didn't say anything. Are you sure everything is okay? How did the interview with the governor go? He said the system crashed. When I heard that, me, I just kept quiet. I just went to wash plates because I realized that everything I'm saying, just forget because you understand. So
Yeah.
sometimes when it comes to in communication, it is
Yeah.
more about the receiver than the person talking. Like
Okay.
even as I'm talking to you right now, if I base everything I'm saying based on what all is that is in my head, I will just be talking and talking and talking, and you'll be like, what is this woman saying? But because I'm listening to you and responding to what you are saying,
Yeah.
it makes it it makes it more effective. But most times we get to a point where we're just loading the person with information, talking, or even just listening to respond. You're not even actively listening. You're just
Yeah.
listening to respond. Have you ever had that kind of conversation? Like you're
Hmm.
talking and the other person is just responding. But like I said, communication is not just about responding. The person is responding, but you know the person is not hearing you or not listening to
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Hmm.
And then you just give up and you're like, I bet no need.
No need. Seriously. Okay. Okay. I think we're actually getting somewhere with this. Okay. So, but I also like you to talk about the aspect where something that another aspect that bothers me really. Should a woman, yeah, because this is about relationship actually we are dealing with today. Should a woman marry somebody she knows that they always disagree? Probably while they were dating, they go out, they disagree on almost everything. I know people say unlike pose attract, right? Like pose repel.
Yeah,
So should it be a condition for a woman to feel that, oh, maybe this is the one for me when you disagree on almost
everything.
everything? Almost everything. As in, you do not that you may not be able to find a common thing that you both like to do together, or something that you both enjoy together. But I don't know, because it happens. I won't cite examples, but I know it happens where you find somebody, oh, you're wearing this. The person is saying, the guy is saying, I don't like you wearing this. I prefer, but that is what you actually like to wear. And because you feel that, oh, you tell yourself, oh, because I have to, kind of submit at this point, and that's what usually happens to women during just before marriage. You tend to, you know,
Lose
erode
yourself.
erode everything about yourself because you
Yeah.
just want to you believe you need to submit, but that same thing I'm talking about giving communication cues. You obviously know that this person will be the kind of person that will be, I do not want to use the word controlling, but that's what it's almost sounding like, because it's going to dictate to you what you wear, almost maybe what you eat, how, when, and stuff. Maybe even what you might even be doing something else at this time, and then you get married and the person says, no, I don't want you to be doing this anymore. Those are communication cues. Those are the things, the basic reason why I wanted us to have this conversation. As in, should a woman look at somebody that she hardly agrees, even a guy, it could be from the other end, somebody that disagrees. And communication is rather, a relationship is such that both of you meet at a certain point. Like somebody says it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. You bring your, whatever, you blend it together. You don't say, I'm giving this part of me, I'm giving that. Both of you, it has to be a blend. There has to be a blend somewhere rather. Okay, so but if it's a situation where one person is always giving certain, I don't want to call them rules, but you see that constantly when you guys meet, the person say, I don't like this. I don't, they're always not liking something and you're bending to it. Do you think it's something that should worry one of the parties just prior to them
Yeah,
becoming?
yeah, it's actually quite worrisome because
Okay.
ironically there are women like that has, why is he not going for a woman that has those traits? Why is he coming for you and trying to make you that? There is a
Okay.
problem. There's a major problem. And then if you have to change almost everything about you to suit um a person, all in the name of getting married, there is a serious problem. Because if you lose essence of who you are, I wonder how you're going to raise your kids. Because even you yourself will not know who, if your child will not understand. I don't know, I don't know how to explain.
Okay.
I noticed lately that most times our kids take cues from us.
Right.
Like we want them to be better than us, but it's always on the basis of who we are. They start from there.
Yeah.
It's hard for a child to just deviate totally from who the parents are. That's why when a child misbehaves after, they say, okay, the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? There is
Yeah.
something about the parents, or there's something that the parents is not, they are not doing, or they should do, that is lacking, that is causing the child to be that way. So it's not actually a good sign for somebody to want you to change. And then I think sometimes I don't know how we actually
take this marriage issue. It's wonderful. I'm married. I'm married. I have kids. It's wonderful. It's awesome when you marry somebody that pushes you to be more of who you want to be and not
Yeah.
wanting to change you to be something else.
Thank you.
Anybody that we are dating and is not wanting you to better yourself, is trying to bring you, like you're pushing yourself to a pattern and you say, no, no need to do that. Calm down, calm down. He's suffering from serious inferiority complex. Serious. A man that, I'm not saying women should dress indecently. I
Yeah.
understand when man, yeah, but if you don't want your wife to shine, like if your wife is like looking too good and you're like, no, why should you dress that way? It's inferiority complex. Because he feels if you shine too much, somebody else will get you.
Yes.
And that's the serious one, because a man like that will be crazily jealous by the time you get married.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me give you another example. Sorry, I'm using this as an example. My
It's
dad, then, if
okay.
my mom greets a man, he will say, who is that man? How do you know him? And this is a woman that married that is a virgin. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Why are you greeting him? So my mom don't greet men.
Okay.
Imagine living like it's like living in bondage.
Oh, God.
You understand? And I grew
Yeah.
up in that, and I grew up in that kind of a home, and like, no, God, no, 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 no. I don't want that. I never want that. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
a situation whereby a man will have that much of control. You don't need to have you don't need to have control over a woman. Now, people don't understand that submission is not about control.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to control me to be submissive, it's no longer submission. It's now
You're right.
slavery. It's
Coercion.
slavery. It's not coercion anymore. If you have to subdue me to be submissive, imagine that in your head. You have to push me down to be submissive. You don't need to. I submit because I know who I am, and I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah.
I'm taking a lesser role. I see marriage as like any business where somebody is at the head. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you don't know anything, but because you know this is the person at the head, you know what you know, but you submit to that person's leadership. That is how marriage works. That you
Mm-hmm.
understand. That's the place of submission.
Yeah.
But a man that feels you should not show your knowledge, I thank God I did not marry that kind of a man that will say the one you know is too much. Keep quiet.
Mhm.
You understand? Or
Yeah.
funny enough, the first time I talked about the fact that I was raped on TV was my husband that invited me to the TV station where he works. And a lot of people were like,
Okay.
how would you allow your wife to go out on
Yeah.
television and be saying that she was raped? Not even once, two times. Jesus. It takes a man that knows that is not who she is. So
Yeah.
if you are dating and the person is already ashamed of you, imagine if I had told him about my experience and he's like, no, don't say it though. Don't let another person.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as you said, you don't
Yeah.
let anybody hear. You know that the
Communicating is important. Yes.
wahala don't they? And me, I know
Mhm.
my passion is to talk about my experience and help other people. And
Yeah.
then I get married to somebody that is saying, shh, don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
You are in for lifetime of sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, that it was my experience was one of the first thing I told him about when we were dating, because I knew it's something I needed to put on the table, because
Yeah.
if he doesn't hear it from my mouth while we were dating, he will hear it outside,
Could get
because it's
somewhere.
something I will talk about and I will keep talking about it. She understands. So if you then
Yeah.
imagine me now, like just imagine a scenario that I marry somebody that he is ashamed, or he feels a girl that has been abused or a girl that has been raped is something to be ashamed of. While my marriage will not, in fact, I'm not sure I'll still be married now. So you know the kind of, like, some I think I've heard it from some motivational speakers, that you need to know your location so that you need to know the bus stop you are going to, so that you know the car that you enter. You know where
I've
you
been
want to
now.
go. You okay? You are into fashion. Then you now marry somebody that is telling you, no, you cannot be too fashionable. You cannot wear this one. No, you cannot. That you're already set for trouble. Or you're not telling you, I don't like weave-on.
Mm.
I want a thread. Or I don't like retouching. I want natural hair. I've seen a guy say he doesn't like his wife to have long hair. It must be short hair. I'm like, Jesus Christ, which kind of... I was like, when my husband wanted to train beard, I just woke up and saw beard. He did not come and tell me, honey, Do you think? And I, you know, the funny. Let me say this. I don't know if I've told him. I don't like beards. I hate
Oh,
it. But my husband has beards. I have to learn to love it.
right.
Do you
Let him
understand?
be
It's,
him. You're right.
he has to be able to be who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And the same way, marriage is not bondage,
Right.
where a woman should now, I want to do this. To the extent that some women have to take permission from their husband, the hairstyle they want to do, they will show the husband first. Please, oh, do you like this type? This is the one. Or they will not make it. The man will say, lose the hair. Oh, you've not seen that one. I've seen that one. Oh. The husband will give him her money to go and make another hair. I don't like that style.
Let me be calm.
Eh,
I'm not allowed to show emotions,
no,
I should just take it all in my stride.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Wow, it's a whole lot. And like I always say, these things show up just before, even in when you're just friends. And then you feel like, oh, it's nothing, it's something I can cope with it until it becomes an issue.
Yeah,
Okay. And when it gets to that point, you discover that people once thought were lovey-dovey are not, that's actually not what it presupposes to be. Okay.
yeah,
So this is us trying to lend our voices to say that when that love bug is coming to bite, do not throw away your common sense. Pay attention to communication cues. They can come verbally, they can come non-verbally, they can come forcefully, they can come subtly. But pay attention to those communication cues so that you do not, okay, leave it until it has become too late for you to begin to say, oh, I didn't know he was this, that, I didn't know, and all that. Because all those things, whatever it is that you're discovering later, must have been communicated somehow along the line. I'm sure we're going to have another time that we'll be able to talk about communication, as in um I'm talk communication in marriage. Now I know we've talked a lot about the subtle communication stuff here and there, body language and things that are communicated that we actually ignore. But I would like for us to talk about more, maybe not today, about one-on-one communication. There was a question I asked before about inviting a third party into a marriage. There are
okay, yeah, I
people
didn't
that,
get to that point. Yeah,
yeah, inviting a third party into your marriage, and you know that you've communicated, you've tried to talk to this person, you've tried to help them see that a particular thing that they keep doing, you do not like it. You want them to do differently, not because you're trying to change them, but because you know that in your relationship, if it goes this way, it will be better for both of you. And sometimes this person even agrees that this will work best in your relationship, but somehow they don't, whether, I don't know whether to call it the willpower. They don't have the willpower to be able to conform to doing stuff that will make the relationship work. And so because of that, you guys keep having problems. And sometimes you just get tired of it all. And you're thinking, okay, maybe somebody else will be able to interpret it to him. But he
mm.
or the lady may not want to talk to a third party. They want, let's do our thing ourselves, but it's still not working because our African culture does not believe in inviting, hey, family, stay away. The worst part is if you talk about a counselor, what do they not have their own problems? I've heard stuff like that. I'm a
Yeah,
social worker, so when I hear stuff like that, it makes me laugh, because I'm like, I don't they have, but they are trained to attend to these issues. So
yeah,
that's the part
yeah,
around here we do not like. A few people actually do reach out to counselors, I mean professional counselors, to
yeah,
help deal with daily issues. But a whole lot of other people don't think it is necessary. They feel, don't worry, everybody has their own issues they are dealing with. Do you know what their own problems are? Who are they telling it to? You are carrying your family, whatever, to go and, in public. But that's not what it is. If you want a lasting solution, you do need a counselor. Please quickly talk about the important role of a counselor in helping to bridge
okay,
communication in a family.
okay. I would like to say it's um there's something I learned while in school, and it's the basis of counseling.
All right.
It's a term for Mackinday. Um, it's a quote from Mackinday, Professor Mackinday. He said, everyone has had, is having, and will have a problem that he alone cannot solve. I take it again.
Exactly.
Everyone
Mm,
has had, is
okay.
having, and
Okay.
will have a problem that he alone cannot solve. So it's not a, most people actually see it as a weakness when you ask for help. I think that is one of the major issue. Like we
Yeah.
in Africa, we feel the place of strength. So to show that you are strong, you don't need to ask for help,
Mm,
and that plays out in a lot of ways, especially for men. Do you understand that a
yeah.
woman is even easier to like still seek help, but for most men, they feel no, if you ask for help, it shows you failed.
Mm,
Asking for help is not a sign of weakness or failure.
true.
Everybody needs help at a point in time.
Mm,
It doesn't mean you're weak. I've heard somebody say, by you need to increase your mental strength so that you don't get depressed. I said depression is not a
ah,
result of mental weakness. Do you understand? See the way the person even said it. I just, if I fled up online that day, but I just had to calm myself and just write it,
to
like calmly
increase your
write it,
mental, wow.
as if
And
the
you
person
shared
did.
Rema.
Huh?
Mm, they shared Rema now. You need to think deep about it and try to look for how to increase your
Eh,
mental.
yes.
Uh,
So those that are going through depression, they've not been going to gym in their mind.
oh my
They
God.
should go and check their mind. You know,
Mm,
if it doesn't hit you, don't just explain things you don't understand.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
People get weak at times in their life. Leave them to be weak. People can be weak. Let them be
Of
weak and
course.
you help them up. Not that they are weak. You are letting them, why should you be like that? Don't you know you are a child of God? You know we like saying things
Mm-hmm.
like that. How can you
Mm-hmm.
say you need a counselor in your marriage? Go on your
Okay.
knees. Talk to the Holy
Thank
Spirit.
you.
God
Yeah,
forgive
that's
me.
the point. Yeah.
Have you prayed about it? Take your husband
Yeah.
to the Lord. The husband did not go to the Lord when we were getting married. But sometimes having somebody neutral explain, like I said, the person has to be there. So the person talks, listens to, and asks both of you to talk to each other. Most
Yeah.
times, it's not for the person to actually interpret. By the time both of you talk to each other, he now sees the reason why this person is not
When
hearing that person,
communication is
or
being
that person,
lost. Yeah.
and then now explain to you, oh, do you understand that this is what your wife is saying? And the wife is saying, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes, that's what I'm saying. And then the wife, do you understand this is why your husband is not understanding you? Your body language, your tone. Most of us don't understand that most times when we speak with tone and emotions. And our
Mm.
tone is set by our emotions. Our tone can be set on our language, on our cultural difference. Like I grew up in
Yeah.
Warri, so I tend to be loud.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
understand? Somebody that I spoke with a lady that was born in Sierra Leone. Man, those people they are quiet. And they said Nigerians are too loud. That we are always shouting. She married a Nigerian man. I said, why is he always shouting? I don't know why your brother is always shouting. And I'm like, say, don't worry. And she's talking, even as I'm talking right now, you hear that my voice is sounding loud and animated.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So to her, like, why are you shouting? And I think even my elder
I'm
sister
not
in
going
UK.
to you know.
And for me, I'm not shouting, I'm just talking, oh, I'm not angry, oh. You understand? So you might be talking and you don't
Yeah.
understand how your tone is sounding to the other person.
Mm. Yeah.
Like one that happens most times. I try to explain to my husband that I'm the kind of person that I am not trying to use tears. People tend to feel when somebody is crying, they're trying to use tears to manipulate. I'm just the type of
Manipulate
person where when I get welled up with emotion, tears just come down.
the risk.
It just falls down. The next thing somebody was telling me that, why are you trying to use tears to manipulate? I'm like, I'm not, it's not, I'm not in control of my emotions right now. So yes, tears
Mm.
are falling down. And sometimes even the tears can be anger. I can be crying and
Mm.
I'm angry. It just means that emotions have taken over me at that point in time.
Yeah.
But because the person is we know you talked about perception. I heard you talk about it
Yeah.
earlier. Now, most times when you communicate is actually filtered through the person's perception and belief system. And our belief
Okay.
system is based on what stories we've heard over time that we believe is
Yeah.
true. Oh, when a woman, we've heard things like when a woman cries, trying to use tears to. So when you see the woman, don't start. And that's what they do. You
Mm.
understand? or you've seen it
When
happen
you go
before.
ignore them. Mm.
Yes. So sometimes you need to see things from the other person's perspective. And that's why I talked about the internal and external processing. So understand how the person works. It's a way to know how they process the information you're giving them. Hello, are we still live? I can't see comments from here.
Okay, so we had to end it there. Unfortunately, my phone was overheating and suddenly had to go off. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in today. I appreciate you. I love you. We're going to get better at this. Trust me. And we started something that will go a long way. Thank you so much, like I said at the beginning of the show, for all encouragements, for all your comments, both the ones that have come in and the ones that are to come. I look forward to doing this again next week, Thursday, by God's grace. I'm going to have Essie come back on the show. I've said that about all my guests, all the guests I've had so far. And that's because they've been amazing. The, the concepts they've shared and their wealth of experience have been amazing. And because of that, we're going to have them back on the show at other times. We're going to let you know when they're coming back on the show. And I'm really excited about this. I hope you can tell. And I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for taking the time to join me each time I come on line. God bless you. See you next week, Thursday. I'm going to be having another guest, another topic. I do hope that we would have dealt with all the hitches that we experienced today before then, so that we'll have